Okay, this is a live interview with Mike Brennen, who's just landed from Vienna, Austria. He's come back to the U.S. to tell us his story in person. Mike, you were attacked one day on a subway by two police officers in Vienna, Austria. Tell us what you were doing at the time and why this incident happened, if you know, and where you are right now with your case.
Okay, basically I was getting off the subway. I was coming from the Vienna International School on February 11th, 2009, approximately around 2:20, 2:25, and I was on the train and some activity was going on. There were some guys moved around, and I felt uncomfortable with it, so I moved from where I was sitting. I was calling my girlfriend on the phone. When I stepped off the train, I turned to the left. As soon as I stepped to the left, I was attacked by a man. Came out of nowhere. He was in regular street clothes, and he was on top of me. I went back down to the ground, fell backwards, head hitting the concrete, and he was punching me, continuously. Then I realized what was going on.
Did he ever tell you that he was a police officer before he started hitting you?
Nothing was said. As soon as I stepped off, I was hit immediately. So I never saw him coming. It was totally unexpected. I was caught off guard. And he didn't identify himself or anything. He didn't say anything. He was on top of me, punching me, beating me. Then after a few seconds, another man came in from the right side, jumping on top of me, attacking me, and both men were on top of me.
Now, as these people are hitting you, did they ever pull out a police ID and say, look, we're officers, we need to take you under arrest, please submit, or anything like that?
No one said anything. The only thing that was said after punching me several times, after my girlfriend was coming up, she was coming up. She was on the other end of the train. She saw me go down. She was running. When she was almost there, he yelled police side, and that's police in German. But he didn't say he was police. He didn't say anything about that. He just said that out loud. And that was the only thing that was ever said. And there was no identification shown. There was nothing. No one identified. No one said anything. These guys on top of me attacking me.
Now, you later learned that they were looking for someone and that you were the wrong person. You were not the person they were looking for.
That's correct.
So this is a case of mistaken identity where they actually attacked you before they even confirmed who you were.
That's correct.
Okay, and you were knocked to the ground. And how seriously were you injured? And how long did this beating go on?
This went on for a few minutes. I was down on the ground with them. They're on top of me for a few minutes. Actually, my girlfriend actually tried to pull one off, and the guy on top of me, and he took her and pushed her away, threw her away, and then jumped back on top of me.
And continued to attack you?
Excuse me, yeah, and then they pulled me up off the ground after that.
Now, you said you had either a broken vertebrae or injured vertebrae. What's the story with the injuries? Walk me through them.
I had several injuries. I had a swollen face. I had a cut on my head. I had my arm, my hand, my back. I had two broken vertebrae that they discovered a few weeks later. They were L1 and L2.
Now, have you had any pain? Obviously, some pain. How bad is the pain as a result of the injuries?
Yeah, I had a lot of pain. I was actually on crutches. I wasn't able to walk straight. I was in the hospital for approximately 3 to 4 days. I had some pain medication every 12 hours, IV in my arm. And I was unable to stand up. If you probably see the pictures that I had before, there was a huge bulge in my back. And actually my rib, they found my rib was actually the crack or deeply bruised also,
I want to go back over something you told me during your encounter with these officers. Let's just wait a second. I can edit that out. Okay, Mike, I want to go over something that you described with the officers before during this attack. You said that at the end, when they knew you were injured and you were actually like groaning in pain on the ground, that they were taunting you and ridiculing you?
Yes, that's one of the officers said, the one who attacked me first, he said in German, my girlfriend that heard him, said that that's what they always do. He's been on the force something like 10 or 15 years, and that's what they always do.
They always, meaning that they always cry out in pain? Or what do you think he meant by that?
Maybe, something that's something they do. It's something they do normally, or there's been situations like this before.
Oh, you mean something on his part?
Injured. Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Or, it could be anything, really. In that word, it was really, derogatory. It was really, absurd to, be down on the ground, and not even, they didn't call the ambulance,
How did you finally get medical treatment?
My girlfriend, she called the ambulance from her phone.
They never called?
They never called, and, one of the guys disappeared after I was pulled up after I showed my ID. The second guy who came in, he disappeared somewhere, The first guy was there, but he wouldn't even talk to me directly. He wouldn't say anything to me. He only spoke to her. You know, he refused to talk to me. He treated me. He was really hateful and really arrogant. You know. So,
now, did they at some point know that who you were and know that you were not the person they were looking for?
Apparently, I guess after I pulled my ID out, and then that's when the guys just started not really talking to me, and he was only going to talk to my girlfriend. He explained to her something. He was trying to explain why he had to take me down like he did, something like that. That's what I understand, you know.
And do you know the person that they were looking for? Do you have anything to do with that person?
No, I have nothing to do with the person. No.
Well, tell me what is it that you do for a living, and why were you in Vienna, Austria?
I'm a teacher there. I teach at the Vienna International School.
And what do you teach?
Physical education and English. You know, English as a second language.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And have you had any legal issue, any criminal issue, anything like that while you've been there, other than this matter?
I've had no issues like that at all.
Did you have an issue like that in the States? Were you some wanted man here in the U.S.?
No, I did not.
So you have a clean record. You haven't been in trouble. You're college educated, I assume.
Yes, I have a master's degree in education.
You have a master's in education. From what school?
Walden University.
Okay. And what about your family? How did they react to what happened to you?
My mother was shocked, my sister was shocked, my immediate family, my extended family. I had a family reunion recently. They were totally shocked. You know, they were really wondering, you know, why would this happen? Why would someone do this? You know, and they know me, and they're really shocked because this is something. I'm the last person that they would think this would happen to, and most of the people that I know also.
Give me, let's let this car pass. Just a minute. Give me some perspective on what it was like to go through this in Europe, knowing what it's like here in the U.S. as a black. Actually, I want to let him pass. I want to let him get out of here. Okay, give me some perspective on what it's like to go somewhere, another country, as an American citizen, a black man, and have this happen to you. And it's so similar to some of the stories you hear about in the U.S. Did you find it strange? I mean, what were your thoughts about what happened to you?
My initial reaction, I was totally shocked. I mean, I can remember the part of me getting taken down, hit or attacked when he first hit me. And I was going down to the ground. You know, I was in my mind. I was thinking, like, what is going on? What is happening?
Did you think it was a racial issue, or did you think it was just that you didn't know?
When I saw his eyes, I mean, he was on top of me, like here on the left side of me, and I saw that look in his eyes. You know, there's that racist look in his eyes. I saw that. You know, and
you felt
that's no doubt in my mind. That's what it was. And then when he was disrespecting me, not talking to me, you know, and telling me what's happening, trying to explain, when that was total disrespect. And then those comments that he made. And not calling the ambulance. There's a lot of things that I really think that it has to do with that, you know. And I'm not a person that's to point the finger when something like that happens.
Right.
I look at all points and, you know, on the open-minded. But just like here, I have to say something like that.
Have you ever filed a racial claim against a police officer before?
No, I haven't.
For any reason?
No, never.
Have you ever filed a complaint against a police officer before?
Never.
So, what was your thinking about the police in general? Not just the European police, but I mean the police in general. Are you an anti-cop person?
No, I have a lot of respect for the police. You know, like I said, in America, you know, it's a big thing. Like, you know, there's a lot of respect, and there's a certain way you act. And, you know, you give them respect, and you know, when you have a problem or something happens, and you pulled over or whatever.
Have you ever been pulled over before?
I've been pulled over before, yes.
And have you ever not cooperated with the police when you were pulled over under a reasonable situation?
No, I haven't. No, I followed my procedure, kept my hands on the steering wheel. I gave my ID. You know, everything was visible. Yes. You know.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, actually.
So you've seen police officers before in other situations, and they've stopped you, and you never had a problem, never left a bad taste in your mouth.
Never had a problem, never. No, actually, they helped me several times, and I never had a negative look on the police at all, on any police. You know.
Did you feel more intense racial hostility in this situation that you were in compared to what you had experienced here in the U.S.? And if you did, is that somewhat ironic? I mean, is that something you expected?
I thought so. I mean, my situation, I thought it was like racially motivated, and I was really shocked at that. You know, like I said, after I knew what happened, what I was seeing was going on, and who I knew this person was, because I didn't know who he was. He did not show his badge. He didn't identify himself until after 10 minutes after my girlfriend. I asked him about 10 times, and after like 10 minutes, you know, then he showed his badge, very aggressively put it away. You you know. But I mean, I just never thought that something like that would happen, you know. I mean, it's a really crazy thing, you know, and shocking to me. But I mean, yeah.
Tell me what's happened since then. You told me the last time we spoke that the officers have been brought up on charges, criminal charges, and that those charges are still pending. Is that still the case right now?
Yes, there was a court date set for the 13th and 15th of July. It's going to be postponed to sometime after October. I don't know the exact date yet, but there will be a trial